Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I have a visionary CEO, impact investor, and a podcast host of the Disruptive Capitalist podcast, Sam Sells. He's coming to us from New Braunfels, Texas. He's a founder, he's raised money, he's done a lot of impact driven work, and I'm really excited to have him on, pick his brain, talk about success, and share some words of inspiration for the listeners and viewers. Sam, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me, Chris.
Yeah. Briefly chronicle your journey and we'll dive into the questions.
Yeah, happy to. Grew up in rural Oklahoma, dirt poor by American standards. I've been all over the world now, and I know what dirt poor is. It's not what happens in America. But yeah, in Texas, joined the military when I was in my early 20s, back in 2003, enlisted, been around the world, got out, got my degree, went back in as an officer, and ended up retiring a little bit earlier than expected, but just the way things happen. While I was in the military, I spent a decade, and I worked at USAID for a year, but I spent a little over a decade working with foreign militaries, foreign governments, helping them do healthcare stuff. So all global health, helped design and build clinics in West Africa, and done stuff in Sub-Saharan Africa, Southwest Asia, Southeast Asia, all medical related. During that time, I grew a passion for housing security because I realized at the end of the day, it all comes back to our homes. And that's where we spend the majority of our lives. And so I decided, taking all those lessons I learned about aligning incentives at the top levels of government to aligning incentives of investors so that they can make money helping people live in clean, safe, affordable housing.
Interesting. And chronicle the work that you're doing now. What do people come to you for? Clients? Are they looking to raise money? Are they looking for coaching? Talk about the work that you're doing now.
I do some coaching. It's very limited, very select group of people, small group of people, and they've got to be passionate about impact and making a difference.
Yeah.
And then I'm usually helping them learn how to access some of the government resources, bonds, grants, equity to build affordable housing or something else like that. It's pretty amazing what you can do. The government is in the house HUD is in incredible demand for more housing, and the public housing authorities are too. And so you just go get them what they want, and they give you a lot of money to do it. It's a pretty good deal.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about USAID and HUD but one thing I was talking about is what for people that want to scale impact, what is your number one piece of advice for scaling impact?
Yeah. Number one is to get razor sharp clear on what it is you want to do. If you don't know what you really want to do, you're going to flounder around and you're going to get stuck listening to people tell you have to do one at a time, and then you do another one, and then you do another one. And it's terrible advice, and it's from people who have never done big things. So they've only done small things. And so they want to teach you just do small. The answer is, if you really care and want to make a huge difference, you can start at a much higher level. It's just the question of how you do that. And that's first off, you go get a mentor that can help you understand how.
Yeah. I love that because you talk about going from single deals to a $300 million fund. And the other question I have for you is it seems like all of your activities in real estate, and what is it about this industry that drew you to it? Why not software, or why not small business? What is it that made you flourish in real estate?
I came to real estate because at the end of the day, of all the places to succeed, in my opinion, it's easiest to succeed in real estate. It's easier to raise money for real estate projects than it is to raise money for your software project. Now, we're launching software. That's coming, and we're doing some other things, but I did it after and to fulfill a need that I discovered inside real estate.
Yeah. The other talk about this, how do you solve the affordable housing crisis through smart investing?
Yeah, great question. If you look, the thing that makes us happy in our lives is to have meaning. some kind of meaning in our lives, whether that's kids, whether that's family, whether that's volunteering time, going to the orphanage, finding God and spreading the gospel. Like the things that we do that create meaning, give us meaning and help us feel powerful and help us feel joy. There's no reason why we can't attach the way we invest to creating meaning. If you care about affordable housing, you care about making a difference and improving the world around us, a great thing to do is to go find someone like myself. There's other impact investors. There's great groups out there. There's not a lot of them, but they're out there who are taking investor capital and deploying it into creating more affordable housing and still generating return. So for us, like we have one opportunity where you can get a 3x on your money in 5 years, and we have another opportunity you can get 2x on your money in 5 years. And it goes towards tearing down slums and rebuilding beautiful, nice buildings that are then leased back to the government. The government pays the rent on the facilities, and it's filled with people who are struggling. And that's a great model if you like money and making a difference.
Yeah, interesting. We'll divert a little bit because I want you to talk about raising private capital and also lessons in leadership. But because you mentioned the government is a great partner, you mentioned that you get great funding. You mentioned that you work for USAID. I'll ask you about USAID in a little bit, but
Yeah.
with the new administration and they're going for maximum efficiency, is the government still a good partner? Or I'm
Yes.
curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I hear this all the time. We happen to know the new HUD secretary. We happen to know Scott Turner and Frank Cassidy, who's the new commissioner. Our conversations with them, which we were on the phone with them last week, was look, we are trying to do these things, but we need the red tape to be cut. Like it can take you 2 years to secure a bond when the housing authority wants to give it to you and they want this project to happen and you have a contract signed to get it, but it still takes 2 years of red tape to secure the thing because you have to jump through all these hoops. Like that's government inefficiency, and it's been built over generations of more presidents and governors just adding more crap to this system, right? There's no need. We have the demand signal. We have the people who make good choices ready to give it. It's just the system. We've created a really dumb system. And so, what we really like about Scott Turner and Frank Cassidy is that they are willing to cut red tape. It's still got to be a good project. It's still got to be the right thing to do. It can't be loaded to the gills with extra cost. They want it to be streamlined. They want to make sure that they're using the government dollars, which are our dollars, as best as possible. It's freaked out a lot of people because they've cut off programs. But what we are seeing is they're replacing that with stuff that makes sense.
Interesting. And then one particular curious, I was just on Twitter and I see these tweets from Elon and Trump about USAID. And my question for you is, because you work for USAID and obviously but is USAID a operation to allow politicians to launder and embezzle money? Just they were saying it's for foreign aid. You see all these politicians with hundreds of millions of net worth, like making 150K. How is that possible?
So I never saw any of that while I was there. And granted, I was only there for a year and I was part of the OFTA, the Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance. And I would say without hesitation, they are one of the best organizations in government I've ever worked for. And I've been in the military, I've been in special operations. That group was incredible, incredibly efficient with government dollars, incredibly wise, really great stewards. Now, USAID is really big, or was really big. And I will tell you that just like any other government organization, it's political appointees who run those organizations. So Obama, Clinton's, they appoint whoever they want to be in charge of the stuff. And it's quite possible that some of those allegations are true because you have political appointees who are answering to their masters, and they then allocate government dollars to nonprofits that are owned and operated by the Clintons. And the Clintons use their nonprofits as paying their private air flights all over the world and meeting all their friends and all this other stuff. Like I don't know if you can ever get rid of all that stuff, but I know you can't blame that all on USAID. You have to blame it on the political politicians who were appointed and did that.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, so that's what I figured. And so talk about lessons in leadership and resilience. And for people listening to this, what is your, because you work for the government, you were in military service, now you're like impact investing. So what is like the number one thing that sets leaders apart in today's world?
It's how we deal with failure. Leaders, everybody fails. All of us fail. We all fail. Leaders don't blame the heck out of everybody else. They just get back up and they get going again. And they rally the troops and say, folks, we failed. This is why we failed. This is how we failed. And let's keep going. A lot of people are failing in the market. Now, I will say that there are evil leaders, and evil leaders will use the failure of somebody else as an opportunity to create us versus them, the Hitler mentality, the politician's mentality. Look, Doge fired a single mom with cancer. Elon is a terrible human being, right? And then like they feed that narrative, and that is also a form of leadership. It's just a really sucky form.
Interesting. Yeah. And I obviously, what is for people that are interested in raising private capital, what is like you don't have to, but what is the number one thing that helped you succeed?
Yeah. And number one thing is to speak, I guess. People have to hear your voice. If they don't hear your voice, they don't know who you are. They're not going to give you money. They can't trust you. I have found that when I am in rooms with other people and they can see who I am, they can see my character, they can get a feel of how I communicate and how I talk, and we can relate on a personal level. That's when we secure our biggest checks.
Yeah. So we have just a few minutes remaining. And one thing is, because I've always talked to successful, what are some of the greatest books I know on for the viewers on the show that I've seen, like Good to Great, Built to Last? And what are some of the books that really help stand out and help shift your mindset and your framework?
Recently, I read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Fantastic book, probably one of the best business books I've read. It was just in my life where I was at, delegating and so forth, it was perfect. There's a lot of really good books. If you're trying to raise money for real estate, Hunter Thompson has a book. It's dated now, How to Raise Capital for Real Estate. I think it's the best of all of the raise money for real estate. You're better off finding a mentor who can help you not go to prison. I hear prison sucks. I haven't been there. I don't want to go there. There's no amount of money on the planet that would make me want to do something illegal
Yeah.
to risk all that. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, really fascinating conversation and really a lot of enlightening. If people wanted to visit you and connect with you and reach out to you, how could they do that?
easiest probably on LinkedIn, Samuel Sells. Check me out on LinkedIn. You can also visit or shoot me an email at sam@impactgrowthcap.com. And or you can go to our website, impactgrowthcap.com, and would love to connect.
Excellent. Thanks so much for coming on and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it, buddy.